Carson Wentz. No, I'm joking. Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson is correct.
Let's go, Hembo!
They tried to talk themselves out of this a million different ways. He's 26 wins. Tom Brady is next at 25. Russell Wilson got his 26th last night, playing against Kirk Cousins, who is having a sneaky good year right now. Cousins and the Vikings in Seattle taking on the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. And Dan Orlovsky, as we look back at some of Cousins' performance, he's trying to throw a ball here. That was probably not his fault.
Yeah, Green, this hits Stephon Diggs right in the hands. That ball gets knocked away by Flowers, turns into an interception.
And it would turn into a 34-17 Seattle lead. But it's Cousins bringing his team back. A wide open Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah, he gets open because of Kirk Cousins' pocket movement and then staring down that slot receiver. Safety drives in, he finds him down the sideline.
Seahawks would fumble, Vikings get it back. Kyle Rudolph, they're right back in the game.
This is like giving your guy a chance. Down 3rd and goal, throw it up high to a 6'4" tight end. He only needs one hand. Massive touchdown for Minnesota.
Vikings would miss the extra point, so they're down 4. Seattle punts, critical moment. 3rd and 3, here's what they do.
Well, Seattle's going to play their cover 3. They try to go slants. They go for it on 4th down. You have to anticipate Seattle running the same exact defense. They put Irv Smith in the slot against the zone nickel guy and throw him the football. Bad call, bad design. They should get this ball to Kyle Rudolph or Stephon Diggs in some kind of bunch or stack set.
Or they could consider punting. They had 3 timeouts left. They do neither. They never get it back, and the Seahawks wind up winning 37-30, so Cousins falls to 0-8 on Monday Night Football. His fourth quarter struggles, just part of his overall second half tough night. Completed just 43% of his passes in quarters 3 and 4, the second lowest second half completion percentage in his Minnesota career.
All right, Green, let's go to one of the best and most interesting games of the weekend. Tom Brady and the Patriots down by a Texans team that frankly looked younger, faster, and stronger. So we're going to bring in Dan Graziano here for a segment we like to do. I'll make a statement, and you'll tell me if I'm overreacting. Here we go. The Patriots will not be one of the top 2 seeds in the AFC.
I think it's an overreaction. I still think they'll get it together enough. I mean, they have the lead. The math is in their favor. Yes, if the Bills win out, they will pass them. If the Chiefs win out, they will pass them. But they have to play the Patriots, both those teams. So I still think they get it together, win at least one of those games, and hold on to that bye week.
Yeah, that's
that
an
they
overreaction.
always have.
It's an overreaction. Now, this weekend's game is massive because they would be 3 weeks in a row of losing to the 3 better teams or best teams in the conference. So this weekend's a big deal, but I don't see how the Patriots fall out of a top 2 seed. Their defense is still playing great football as long as they don't play against mobile quarterbacks like Lamar or Deshaun Watson. And I just, maybe blind faith. I know their offense has massive issues. I've been outspoken about it, but maybe some blind faith that the greatest coach of all time and the greatest quarterback of all time will figure it out.
It's not blind faith. It's like almost 2 decades worth of evidence.
It's really
to back your
obscure faith.
Yeah.
And maybe some faith in the schedule, because I don't care how bad
They got
things
the
get.
Dolphins yet, I think.
And the
Those are
Bengals.
legit,
I'm
man.
taking them over the Bengals and Dolphins every time. How about Freddie Kitchens, head coach of Cleveland, will be a one and done?
I don't think that's an overreaction. I don't think it's there yet, but it's absolutely possible that Cleveland would make a coaching change at the end of this year. Huge disappointment of a season, as we know, but I mean, so much other stuff around it, right? It's not just playing bad and losing games. There's been so many issues with that team. You can absolutely imagine a scenario in which the Cleveland front office steps back and goes, okay, this was the wrong move. Let's change it up at the end of this year. I don't know if they've decided that yet, but it's entirely possible.
That's a necessary reaction. That's a necessary reaction. When was the last time anyone said Freddie Kitchens did a really good job with that? He's mismanaged and mishandled multiple situations throughout the years. Quarterback's not playing good. They got 2 really good receivers they don't get the football to. He doesn't run the football at the right time. He does stuff to expose his team. He handles the media poorly. He's put this team in bad situations all season. One and done.
Don't underestimate the stubbornness of NFL front office and ownership. They would be admitting a mistake from January. A lot of teams don't like to do that. I'm not saying they should keep him. I'm saying
you either make the right decisions or make the wrong decisions right. It was a wrong decision. You better make it right.
History favors what Dan's saying, though. I had Himbo do a little research. In the last 20 years, only one coach has been a one and done after being a division favorite coming in. That was Marty Schottenheimer with the 0-1 Redskins, and he was 8-8 at the time. And for our final, are we overreacting? Everyone was so happy about St. Nick getting that nice contract in Jacksonville. We saw him benched on Sunday. So Nick Foles signing was a huge mistake by the Jaguars.
Yeah, huge because of the money involved. This is not an overreaction. They are stuck with this Nick Foles contract.
What do you mean?
They guaranteed him more than $41 million over the first 2 years of the deal. So if they don't bring him back next year, they'd be carrying massive dead money cap charges for 2020, and they'd be crippling themselves in an effort to try and rebuild a roster apparently around Gardner Minshew. So they're kind of stuck. They have other cap issues they need to deal with. We don't know who's going to be coaching that team, but whatever happens with the Jaguars, whoever takes over is going to be hamstrung by the deal they gave Nick Foles when, quite frankly, they were kind of bidding against themselves.
It's unfortunate for Nick Foles. I'm happy he got his money. I think he's one of the best people and representatives of the NFL, and I'm excited for Gardner Minshew. Like, it's one of those opportunities or one of those rare situations where a young player got the opportunity to play. He took advantage of it. It's a meritocracy in the NFL, and Nick Foles got his job back. Had some struggles. Let's play this young kid and see if he's as good as we think he is.
To steal a cliche, the future does look bright. At least you do have someone in the building that you feel like you can turn the reins over. This is not an overreaction. The Ravens have been the most fun team in the NFL to watch all season long, Greeny.
That indeed they have. As we stay in the AFC and talk about Baltimore, they just keep on rolling. Sunday they beat the Niners 20-17 for their 8th straight win. Lamar Jackson throwing a touchdown and running for one in the game as well. And so where does that leave them as far as our friends in Las Vegas are concerned? The folks at Caesars now have Baltimore as the favorites to win it all, just slightly ahead of New Orleans. New England, with all their struggles, still have the 3rd best odds to win the championship. And I feel like it was just a few weeks ago that we were asking the question, Patriots or the field, which is the ultimate respect you can give to any team or any player in any sport, them or the field. Now, all of a sudden, I'm asking the same question about a different team. If I offered you the Ravens or the field right now, who you got?
I'll take Baltimore. I've said for a couple weeks I think they're indefensible. They're the hardest team to not only prepare for, they're the hardest team to play against. And I think we're seeing that week by week by week. We saw a relative dismantling of New England. We've seen them blow teams out. We've seen them win with the pass game, run game, win an ugly football game. And this defense is way better than it was 6 weeks ago. Because of that, I'm taking Baltimore to win the whole thing because of how difficult they are to prepare for and play against. You can't go find personnel in December to match up against them. Lamar's feeling really confident. Their coaches have a great understanding of who they are. And back to that defense. If that defense continues to blitz the way they are and play man coverage, I'll take Baltimore.
I see it completely differently. Let's go back a year ago. The Chargers, first time they played Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, they struggled. Second time they beat him in the playoffs. And when you look at all the teams, we talked about this earlier, Greeny, they're probably going to play a repeat opponent the second time. And we even saw on Sunday, Dan, that the San Francisco defense got better in the second half than it did the first half. And when we go back a year ago and look at what happened against the Chargers, it was noticeably different the second time around. So I think a repeat opponent really hurts the Ravens more so than other teams.
Well, look, if in the playoffs they will play Patriots, Chiefs, Texans, Bills, Steelers. They obviously have played all of those teams. Those are the teams right now trending towards making it to the playoffs. I'm told I have Swagoo back. I'd love to get his take on this conversation. Swagoo, you got the Ravens or you got the field? Which way you like it?
I got the Ravens. And Mike, stop Tannenbaum. Stop it with that. We know the Ravens are the best team in the NFL, and we can build suspense and drama. Nobody's going to stop these guys
from doing what they do. That was the best defense in the NFL that they played in sloppy conditions and was still able to garner some yards. I don't care if you play these dudes twice, because playing them twice ain't going to make Lamar Jackson run slower. It's not going to make Greg Roman get uncreative. And they are self-scouting themselves, just like we're sitting here talking about with the Chargers last year. I am pretty sure if they are worth anything they're getting paid, they're going to evaluate the situation and know that that happened to them last year as well. But when I look at this Ravens team and we talk about Lamar Jackson and this offense more than anything, this defense to me is what the championship level is. Offense, they're going to do what they're going to do. But this defense is balling. Judon and Cole and those guys making plays up front. They're better against the run, which was their Achilles heel earlier this season. The Baltimore Ravens, if you beat the Ravens, they are going to have to self-implode. You are not going to line down for 60 plays and stop them from being able to get into the end zone. It is not going to happen.
And let us safely say, no one fills up a screen on FaceTime quite like Marcus Spears. As we continue in a moment on Get Up, what exactly is next for Jim Harbaugh?